Well. It's all come down to this. The most hyped Loud House episode probably ever. Did it deliver? Well, I'm going to talk about that. What's up, people of the world? It's me again, Alex Wimmer, aka AP3 Jones, coming to you with the final Loud House review for this month. You know what it is. You know what it's about. It's called Not Allowed. Now, but this episode, where do I even begin? Well, if you've seen the episode, then you already know what happens. If you haven't, don't watch this review. Watch the episode first, then watch this. It's pretty much how all my episode reviews go. Still have my comb. So yeah. I don't know why I'm standing in the side. It's for thumbnails, not for the actual videos. Well, obviously, we all know what this episode is about. It basically confirms whether or not Lincoln Loud is adopted, which is a very popular fan theory among the Loud House fandom. It's the most popular and most talked about theory in all of the show's history thus far. And it looks like that myth has actually been busted. It's not true. Lincoln's not adopted. I'm just gonna cut right to the chase. Lincoln's not adopted. But so that's good news. I mean, that's good news, I suppose. I mean, I'm glad the show finally confirmed that whether or not Lincoln Loud is adopted, and I guess I'll talk about all the filler stuff. I talked about the ending first, but I'm gonna talk about the filler stuff real quick. Now, this episode, what happened in between, Lincoln's obviously trying to find out whether or not he's adopted, and it went in a bit of a different direction than I or anyone was expecting. And Lincoln was trying out these tests. He's trying out these tests to see if there's still that stupid bug up in here, but he was trying out tests based on on these comic book characters that he has to see if he had these special abilities like super strength or can eat worms or whatnot, or that was kind of crazy. And then a running gag goes along where Clyde says that probably explains the white hair, but that's the only thing that was not confirmed yet. We still do not know why Lincoln's hair is white. We still have no idea. If Lincoln doesn't know, then we don't know. I guess maybe this mystery, it might be confirmed later on. If they confirm, wow, my throat is killing me from talking so damn much while recording. Since they finally debunked the theory that Lincoln Loud is adopted, I'm sure they'll explain why Lincoln's hair is white. From a character design perspective, his hair is white because of his original Bunny design, and a lot of the character aspects of him and a lot of the other Loud House characters reflect their origins as bunnies. Like the big heads, long feet, some characters have buck teeth, and also Lincoln's white hair. All those design aspects are based on the fact that are based on his original bunny design, and that kind of carries over with the rest. With basically the main character design style that Loud House characters have. I know that was a completely unnecessary tangent, but I felt like I should explain that anyway, for any of you guys who didn't probably know that. Or maybe there's a ringing in my ear. Yeah, that's what it is. It's not what it... Yeah, okay. So, as Lincoln tries to uncover the truth, talks to some of his older sisters, 4 out of the 5 older sisters, and, excuse me, they all tell different stories, and then Lincoln looks through like some old records, like records of lists of like doctors who were delivering babies around the time of Lincoln's birth, which that is actually an Easter egg of a bunch of the writers, and it's a bunch of the cast and crew members' names that are on that list as little Easter eggs. So I saw that little tidbit before actually watching the episode. And so Next, what Lincoln and Clyde try to do, Clyde's in on this too, by the way. What they try to do next was they go to town, see if any of these families are, see if he was actually switched at birth, not adopted per se, but see if he was actually switched at birth. So they go around these families and try to see, and one family in particular, they both have white hair, and they have a daughter who looks exactly like Lori, and and also has similar personality traits that Lynn and Lana have. And she also sounds like Lynn, and a lot of the other characters are voiced by Chris Savino. Not just that one character whom I guessed at for the possibility that Lincoln was switched at birth. My face was like this. Or something like that. I can't quite replicate that, but by the end, Lynn and Rita finally, first Lincoln confronts them about that Lincoln was supposedly switched at birth. But then Lynn and Rita are laughing off, and then Lincoln kind of gets offended by that. It's like, oh, I'm glad you find this whole situation funny, sarcastically he says. And by the end of it, they're like, they confirm that Lincoln is not adopted. The show and the creators debunked that theory, and I'm kind of glad that they debunked it. I'm really glad that the fans got closure on that sort of thing. And I'll get to the overall impact of that by the end. So anyway, as for Lincoln's actual birth story, and the whole reason Lincoln was trying to find out about his birth story, by the way, was because he had to do it for like us. God, Jesus, I can't even talk. The whole reason Lincoln was on this little quest in the first place was because he had to do this for an assignment in class, right about the day he was born, and his birth story and whatnot. So yeah, I just said the same thing twice. But let's not get all jumpy now, shall we? Now, as for Lincoln's actual birth story, Lynn and Rita tell him that first off, we got to see young Lynn and Rita, which is pretty awesome, from 11 years back. That was pretty neat. And Vanzilla broke down. As for the story, Vanzilla broke down. We got a little flashback with visuals, like I said, and Rita's water broke. And the secret, the president was on was on the same road as they were, and then they stopped. They noticed the situation, and they're like, and the long story short, they let Lynn and Rita into the car, and Lincoln, in short, was delivered by the First Lady. That is pretty darn awesome. And the reason why Lynn and Rita weren't really didn't really want to tell Lincoln about his birth story was because, as it turns out, since Lincoln was born in that car of the president, delivered by the First Lady, Lynn and Rita signed a contract saying that they can never discuss the event because they were leading to sort of top secret, and because they were on that path to the top secret objective or whatever, Lynn and Rita unfortunately could not talk about the day that Lincoln was born. So that's why Lynn and Rita were kind of like beating around the bush with that sort of thing. But I'm glad we finally got some closure on that. And at the end, they got a flag with an U as a prop. And I think if I remember correctly, Lincoln was wrapped in that thing. So yeah, all of what Lincoln's older sisters told him were true. I'm not going to recap all of them, but if you've seen the episode, then you know what happens. Now, the overall impact, when I thought about the episode, at times it was a little underwhelming, and then at other times it had a little bit of shock value, like the time like we saw that kid who looked very much like Lori, had personality traits of Lynn and Lana and sounded like Lynn. That was when I gasped, and that was when I thought possibly that Lincoln maybe was switched at birth. But once again, I keep repeating myself, but I, along with all the fans, I'm sure, are glad that this theory is finally, not debunked per se, but I'm just glad we finally know. It wouldn't have mattered whether or not Lincoln was adopted, although if he was adopted, that would have been interesting little shock value, an interesting little turning point, I guess. Not turning point, but an interesting little twist to the series. Because, yeah, honestly, like I said, the episode was mostly kind of underwhelming a little bit. Like, I guess the hype was a little bit for nothing, I guess you could say. Like, I feel like I, along with the other fans, feel like I feel like I was expecting a little bit too much. Kind of very similar vein to the final Smash Brothers presentation for Super Smash Bros. 4. We all got our hopes up, and none of our expectations were met. Oh, that is a similar instance, although in this case, it was either one or two scenarios. Lincoln being adopted, or Lincoln not being adopted, or Lincoln being switched to birth. That's a third scenario. So there's only 3 possible outcomes for the fans to try to anticipate. But like I said, this is one of the most hyped episodes of the series, most anticipated, and unfortunately, we all kind of we all got too hyped for the episode for our own goods, I feel like. But that's not to say that the episode was bad. The episode was still good. I give it like 8 sisters out of 10. It's not terrible. It's just like, oh, I wanted like maybe more shock value. I don't know. It's not like I personally didn't want I personally didn't want Lincoln to be adopted, but by the way, to close this off, you should go watch this video that Channel Frederator did many months back on the theory of Lincoln Loud being adopted. It discusses that whole hypothesis, discusses that whole theory in complete detail. It talks about why he could be adopted, the chances of the exact odds of having a boy or a girl, which is literally a 1 in 2 situation. It's literally a 2-to-1 situation. You either have a boy or a girl. You're not genetically predispositioned, I should say, to have always have boys or girls. Every time you have a birth, it's always you either get a boy or a girl. And if you happen to get a multiple of the same gender in a row, then that's just what happens. It's like a coin flip. I could not catch the damn thing, but it landed on heads. So yeah, literally like that. It also discusses why Lincoln's hair could possibly be white. Once again, that wasn't confirmed either. But by the way, this episode is very similar to a very early episode of The Middle, from like season 1 or 2, I think. And as it turns out, Brick was actually switched at birth, and this episode has similarities to that. But I think that we're about done talking about this episode. All right. So if you liked this video, then don't forget to subscribe. Be sure to stay tuned for more stuff. Be sure to stay tuned for a brand new random video. If you don't know what a random video is, it's a slideshow series with a theme song playing in the background with pictures pertaining to the song, kind of as either like Easter eggs or subliminal messages. For example, this next episode is going to feature the song Pain by 3 Days Grace, although I might have to make a custom mix for copyright concerns. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought of the episode down below. Did you kind of get your hopes up too, just like I did, or were your predictions exactly right? Mine were kind of right. I honestly wasn't sure what was going to happen. I was not sure. Like I said earlier, it could have only been one of 3 possible scenarios: Lincoln being adopted, Lincoln not being adopted, or Lincoln being switched to birth. So yeah, I hear background noise in the background. That means I gotta cut this video off. Anyways, I don't know when the next Alanis episodes will be. I think the next ones are going to be next month. Anyways, I'm Alex Warmer, aka AP3Jumps. Thank you so much for watching. Until the end, that's it for me, and I will see you soon. Hopefully I can review some more stuff in the future. Maybe I'll review some old Lattice episodes that were my absolute favorites, like Pulp Friction, Link or Swim was my very first episode, actually, so I might review that. I don't know if I'll review the entire series, but it might happen. I don't know. Like I said, I might just review old favorites of episodes in the future, like Pulp Friction and Blinker Swims. This is my first episode. God, I really repeat myself too often. But I just need to kind of reiterate some things since there's a lot I discuss in these videos. But anyway, I'm Alex Swimmer, aka If Through Jumped. Thank you so much for watching until the end. That is it for me, and I will see you soon. Goodbye. I promise I'll try to quit like repeating myself so much. Anyways, goodbye. Here's to the next Loudness episodes. I'm pretty sure we're about to reach our 100th segment. I don't know if the series will celebrate the 100th segment or the 100th half-hour combo. You know what I'm saying.